parading around out here, that ain't the real Gucci, man. So it's some weird going on out here. Like, I don't know if the clone, I don't put it past, like, nobody. I'm sure they got the technology to do that. But that's not the real Gucci. That's not the real Gucci. Gucci probably dead. I think they killed him in prison.
It started around around Illmind 5 when that came out, because the song was so big, and then they told me I had to like kind of sacrifice something. They said you're gonna have to pay it back because you just put this information out there, and this is gonna put people in the wrong mindset of what we're trying to do in society. So they told me that if I don't do these list of things, then they are going to hurt my family or hurt, you know, people that I really care about. And they told me to go to this office. It was on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. And then when I went in, I asked them over the phone, what are they going to have me do? They said they couldn't tell me. And then when I went into the office, they sat me down, and it was like an all white room, and they opened one of the doors, and it had a Gucci suit. A Gucci bodysuit. And I said, oh no, please don't tell me that is what I think it is. They said, yeah, it's exactly what you think it is, pal. And I said, no.
The shop, but I'm saying
it was not good. I respect you.
It's like, that's my thing. It's like, you don't even know. Y'all just jump up on people like this, and it's just like.
I apologize if I caused you trouble, and you told me to stop, and I...
Hopsin just popped out with what he claims is the real story behind that whole Gucci mayonnaise clone mess, and he swears it's way darker than anybody ever expected. He's saying Gucci didn't just walk out of prison looking toned up or refreshed. He walked out like a whole different person, like the original version got swapped out somewhere along the way. According to Hopsin, the Gucci we're seeing today ain't the same one that went in. Not in attitude, not in energy, not in nothing. And before we get into how he thinks this switch-up supposedly went down, we gotta roll the tape back to where the whole legend started. You can't talk about the Gucci we see now without digging into that stretch of time people still whisper about like it was some kind of industry twilight zone. Back in the early 2000s, Gucci was spiraling hard, and the streets remember it clear as day. Dude was jumping online wild, firing shots at everybody. Nicki, Waka Flocka, Yo Gotti, Birdman, even folks in his own circle. He was moving out of pocket, heavy into substances, taking cases, fighting charges, and beefing with anybody who breathed wrong near him. Then 2014 hit, and everything crashed for real. He got picked up on a federal gun charge after Atlanta police caught him acting out, swinging on officers, and carrying heat while allegedly under the influence. The court gave him 3 years and 3 months, but he ended up serving about 2 years because of time credits and what the system called good behavior. Now, this is where the whole story flips into straight mystery territory, because when Gucci stepped out in 2016, people almost lost their minds on the spot. The man who walked out that gate didn't look, sound, or even move like the same Gucci the world watched crash out before his sentence. The old Gucci, bloated, slurred, always looking spaced out, always caught up in something wild. But the Gucci who came home, slim, clean, sharp, smiling, sober, ripped like he'd been training for a Nike campaign or something. His voice sounded smooth, his interviews calm, and his whole vibe felt like somebody hit a reset button on his soul. The internet exploded instantly. Twitter, Reddit, and every blog started running with one wild headline: Gucci Mane cloned in prison. And it didn't stop there. That rumor caught fire fast. Then his ex-girlfriend Mac Bree hopped online and made the whole thing blow up all over again. She said straight up that the man walking around wasn't the same Gucci she knew. She claimed his eyes looked different, his speech felt off, and that his whole energy didn't match the guy she used to deal with. Bree even said the real Gucci got taken out in prison and replaced with somebody trained to act like him. And when she tried to get close, Gucci's new wife, Keisha Coir, blocked her heavy.
Tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, oh, woe, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Bree said Keisha wouldn't let her talk too long, wouldn't let her get near him, wouldn't even let her breathe around him. According to Bree, it felt like Keisha was guarding a secret, like some type of handler keeping everything tight so nobody would notice the switch up. Then Nicki Minaj jumped in and made the whole situation even louder. When she went off on Keisha, she called her out saying she only around Gucci to keep him sedated and under control. That sent the conspiracy into overdrive. She wrote, Gucci's wife has been trying to be me for years, been dying for the spotlight for years. She's there to keep Gucci sedated. And that line right there had everybody spinning because it lined up perfectly with what Mac Bree had already been saying. According to her, Keisha wasn't just playing the role of a wife. She was the one keeping clone Gucci locked into place like a supervisor keeping tabs on an actor. And the streets been watching Keisha's every move for years. Folks swear she runs that man's whole life. She controls his social media. She manages his bookings. She picks and filters everything the public sees, and fans swear she keeps his schedule tight like he a machine programmed to move on the dot. People online kept saying she ain't just supporting him, she monitoring him, and the rumor kept building up harder. Then Gucci himself tried to calm the whole situation down. He posted online saying, in a way, I feel like I grew, I kind of morphed into a different person, shared some of my old ways. I can say I grew up, I love the person I was, I love the person I am, and I love the person I grew to be. I tried to lose weight, I tried to take care of myself, change my thinking, my environment, and associates, the ones that wasn't benefiting me. I guess that's the transformation everybody's saying they can't believe, but I can believe it. That quote was supposed to shut the conspiracy down, but it did the total opposite. The hood instantly said the old Gucci could barely put a clean sentence together without tossing in some raw street energy, and now this Gucci talking like he reading off a speech he practiced 20 times. People said it felt way too polished, way too scripted, way too calm. And just when the internet was starting to let the whole clone rumor fade a little, Hopsin popped out of nowhere and blew it all up again on IG Live. He didn't just stir the pot, he cracked the whole thing wide open and had everybody locked in like, okay, what is really going on here? Hopsin hopped on IG Live looking stressed but ready to spill, and the way he started talking had everybody glued to their screens instantly. He said he kept quiet for years because people would call him crazy, but now that the clone rumors were back in full swing, he felt like it was finally time to explain what he claims he saw behind the scenes. He said straight up that Gucci's switch wasn't some glow-up or self-care miracle. It was something way deeper that went down while Gucci was locked up.
They wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, like, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue.
According to Hopsin, the change didn't happen when he got out. It happened inside, long before anyone ever saw that new slim version walking free. He hinted that Gucci wasn't just working on himself. He was being kept somewhere separate, somewhere quiet, somewhere the public didn't even know existed. Hopsin said there was a stretch of time where nobody in Gucci's circle could reach him. No calls, no visits, no nothing. He claimed the team started panicking because every message they sent came back filtered or blocked, like somebody else was answering for Gucci. And when Hopsin finally got a glimpse of him, he swears Gucci didn't look like he recognized anybody. That moment right there had folks in the comments losing it. But the wildest part was when Hopsin said Gucci came back acting programmed, moving different, speaking different, and keeping his distance like he was scared to break whatever routine they had drilled into him. He said the man walked, talked, and behaved like somebody rehearsing a role, not living his real life. And the craziest thing? Hopsin claims he tried to warn people before, but every time he spoke up, someone from Gucci's camp allegedly reached out telling him to chill. So now he's saying he's done biting his tongue and the internet is eating it up like, why didn't we hear this earlier? Hopsin didn't stop there. He said the moment Gucci returned to the main population inside, everybody around him felt the shift instantly. He claimed the man was quiet, too quiet, like he was trying to remember how to act like himself. Hopsin said Gucci barely talked, barely ate, barely reacted to anything, like his whole personality got wiped clean and rebuilt from scratch. And that's when the other inmates supposedly started whispering. Hopsin said dudes in there kept saying it felt like Gucci had been reset because the man didn't carry himself with the same wild energy he walked in with. No sudden outbursts, no slick comments, no heavy attitude, nothing. Just calm, straight posture and eyes that didn't look like they'd been through the storm anymore. According to Hopsin, a few OGs inside even joked, "That ain't the same dude." But the more they watched him, the less it felt like a joke. He said Gucci moved like he was being supervised even when nobody was watching, following routines too perfectly, like somebody drilled new habits into him day after day. Hopsin also claimed that anytime Gucci tried to speak about what happened during the time he was unreachable, he'd shut himself down mid-sentence, like he was scared to say the wrong thing. That detail had the live chat going insane, with people spamming, "Why would he act like that if nothing happened?" Then Hopsin dropped a bomb. He said the moment Gucci got transferred back out, officers treated him different too. Real respectful, almost cautious, like they were escorting someone important instead of an inmate. Folks in the comments started connecting dots, saying that level of treatment didn't match a regular situation at all. And when Gucci finally got released, Hopsin said the man walked out with a brand new aura.
Enough to have him as my graduate advisor. And the area that I was interested in was how food affect muscular performance. And
when you say drugs, are that like performance-enhancing drugs, or are they
all kinds of drugs?
Oh, right, okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was, so I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things.
Disciplined, quiet, and locked into a mindset nobody had ever seen on him before. That's when Hopsin said he realized something major had changed behind those walls, long before the world started screaming, "Clone!" Hopsin said the real confirmation for him came after Gucci got out, when he started watching the interviews one by one. He said every time Gucci talked, it felt rehearsed, like somebody wrote a script and told him to memorize every line. The flow was too calm, too clean, too perfect. Nothing like the unpredictable Gucci the streets grew up on. He pointed out how Gucci would smile through questions that the old Gucci would have snapped over instantly. Reporters brought up past beefs, old charges, old enemies. And instead of firing back, Gucci just talked peaceful, like he suddenly didn't have a single grudge left in his soul. Hopsin said that threw him off completely, because transformation is one thing, but a whole personality swap is something else entirely. Then came the body language breakdown. People online started comparing old clips to new clips, and Hopsin said the differences were too loud to ignore. The old Gucci moved loose, wild, unfiltered, but this new version sat straight, hands folded, voice soft, like he was trained in etiquette classes. Fans made side-by-side videos showing his jawline sharper, his eyes clearer, and his whole posture different. And that's when the clone narrative went from a joke to a full-blown conspiracy overnight. Hopsin even admitted he wasn't trying to believe it at first, but the signs kept piling up. He said the man who walked out didn't have the same spark. He had discipline, structure, and a strange calmness that felt unnatural to anybody who knew the old chaos Gucci used to live in. Hopsin claimed industry insiders reached out to him behind the scenes, saying they noticed the same thing but didn't want to say it publicly. That part had the live chat exploding, because if multiple people behind the curtains were seeing the same changes, maybe there really was something deeper going on. And Hopsin ended that segment by saying, when somebody disappears one way and comes back acting like they've been rebooted, you gotta start asking questions. The comments went crazy, saying Hopsin's story finally put words to everything fans had been feeling for years. Hopsin said the wildest part was when this same industry elite crew allegedly forced him into being Gucci's clone. He claimed they cornered him in an all-white room and told him straight up he had two choices: clone up or watch his family get hurt. People laughed it off back then, called it another Hopsin bit, said he was trolling like usual. But now, with how strange the industry been acting lately, that old confession starting to feel less like comedy and more like a warning nobody took seriously. And if you think it ends there, you haven't been paying attention to how this clone talk been bubbling across Hollywood. Gucci ain't the only name folks been side-eyeing. Look at the whole Kanye West situation. Even he said it himself before disappearing for weeks. If I disappear and come back, that won't be me. That line hit different once people remembered it. 2 weeks later, Kanye popped up clean as ever, Shaved, calm, quiet, and suddenly married to Bianca like the whole thing was planned months before. Fans immediately pointed out his voice sounded softer, his movements stiff, and his interviews almost too controlled. People kept saying it looked like somebody pressed reset on him, and it ain't just random fans making noise, there's real patterns popping up. That same handler energy folks talked about with Gucci's wife, people started connecting it to Kanye's ex-trainer, Harley Pasternak, the same man who allegedly threatened to take Kanye back and reprogram him once he started talking too much. When folks dug into Harley's background, they found out he used to work with the Canadian military, studying how chemicals and psychological tactics change human behavior. That discovery blew everything wide open. Then people started connecting the dots even harder when rumors came out that Harley allegedly tried to put Kanye on heavy lithium, the same stuff they reportedly gave Britney Spears and even Michael Jackson. And we all saw how those situations had everybody confused and worried. Fans said that wasn't therapy. It was straight sedation. So now we looking at the same blueprint with different faces. And folks swear all these stories connect like one giant puzzle Hollywood don't want nobody solving. Gucci, Kanye, even Britney, all wrapped up in this web of control, medication, and sudden personality flips that hit out of nowhere. And when you lay it all out on the table, it gets way too strange to just ignore. Gucci goes into prison wild and unpredictable, then steps out clean, calm, cut, and looking like a totally different man. His ex saying straight up, that ain't him. His wife moving like a full-time handler. Hopsin claiming elites tried to force him into a Gucci role. And Kanye dropping warnings about disappearing before coming back with brand new energy. That whole lineup makes the whole industry look suspicious as ever. The internet been calling it conspiracy for years, but the timing too tight and the changes too sharp. Hollywood stays weird, but this level of weird, fans say it's different. This the only place where a man can walk in one way, walk out another, and folks celebrate like it's just a glow-up story. While the streets whisper, it's a full cover-up. One user even wrote, the real Gucci Mane died in prison, and his cellmate or someone close to him came out with this statement, and that guy allegedly died as well. That comment alone had people staring at the screen like, hold on, what? Another person said, Gucci's ex-girlfriend said that's not him, and she been knowing him longer than everybody. The clone doesn't go around any of Gucci's family or friends he grew up with. It's because they would know immediately that's not the real Gucci. And folks swear his wife always stepping in during interviews, guiding him, finishing his sentences, or low-key telling him what to say like she managing the whole performance. So tell me, what do you think? Did something darker go down behind those prison walls? And if Gucci really got swapped, how many other rappers out here walking around as silent replacements? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share this with somebody who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe for more. See you on the next one.